and it's froze. And he was telling me when somebody used on my rim, the Loctite, you couldn't get them off. I mean, there's a way to get them off. Finally, I found out to put it up on a thing, and then you hit it with a rubber hammer. Whop, whop, and you shake it loose a little. So that happened. A little bit of Loctite. I said, man, this is cold-blooded. So I have a lot of experiences with cars. So I may not know how to fix it, but I kind of got a smell for what it is. You know what I mean? Anyway, the long story short is, 4 or 5 years ago, Yasser started hinting to me. He thought I didn't know what was happening. So he would loud talk his boss. And he would say something, what about such and such? He was trying to tell me. He didn't already talk. He's telling his boss, you shouldn't do that to the brother. Now, when we did the car, this time, it was a month or two ago, he was serious about it this time. Because I said, well, you know, part of the Islamic movement, da-da-da-da. And she said, I told you, that's what Yasser was saying to him. Yasser, they're out there right now. You can check with Yasser. If he agrees, it's fine. If he don't, it don't make me no difference. Because for me to get to the point that I'm saying what I'm saying, it's like 20 years old. It's old, it's a long time. Finally, last year, 2 years ago now, I said, well, you told Brother Tufel that we won't be able to help Masjid al-Islam anymore with, you know, the Ramadan thing. So that's fine. We got, you know, we hustle up. Well, you know, we hustled up first of all, before anybody helped us, we hustled up our own stuff, and then when somebody helped, it didn't help but, you know, a couple of days, few days. It's nice, but it's still, it don't cover no, you know, if you think I'm driving, you go out there and shop once or twice for a full spread to see what it costs if you think it's just, they're giving away food out there. Anyway, so the point is that we're a part of the Islamic movement. It's not that we're a part of the Islamic movement. Technically, as far as survival goes, I would say that we are we hate to be exclusive, the only survivors. We have 40 years of the Islamic movement in America. And ain't nobody been playing with us at all, none of that time. Okay. Not only that, but we knew what we was doing before we even got into what we was doing. We already knew what to look for along the highway. So, the thing I want to talk about a little bit today is ethics. Ethics. Morality. Longevity, the ability to be around a long time. Man, if you only knew what longevity does. Longevity, remember Martin Luther King's last speech in Memphis? He said longevity, when I've been to the mountaintop, he said longevity has its place. But I may not get there, which is promised land, that is. But I've seen the promised land, you know, whatever. Maybe this is it right here. We just don't know it's promised land. he said longevity has its place. The other thing, our heroes, the latest ones, if you take Malcolm and King, neither one of them had longevity. Malcolm, just 1952 to 1965, 13 years. By the time when they messed with his family, you could see him at the window with a rifle. You see that famous picture? He's not paranoid, just call it sensitive. He didn't get a chance to evolve over decades. Can you imagine? In the Islamic movement, it's been 40 years. But in the movement, it's been over 50 years. Can you imagine? And not at the bottom running around, but right in there, near the top, and pretty soon you become a target. The target. Okay, so later on we're going to talk about this targetism, because it would sound like bragging a little bit, but in this targetism, we're the target. Our program coming up is, remember we had the thing, representative of the oppressed. Then we represent the broad, in the United States, the oppressed. Overseas, Iran might be that representative. Okay. Now, here, we're inside of America. I want you to imagine what they do to people in America if we look at this. There's an old, but this is real Imam Khomeini still alive, right? Imam Musa, Palestine, here's a Sudanese brother, one of the Sudanese leaders, right here. Pakistani leader. No. What are we going to do if you're on the front page of these newspapers? Front page. Sri Lanka. Welcome Imam Abdul Musa, da 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 da. All that stuff. Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka, they were saying this is the Malcolm X of today. Let's see here. Armed intruders attacked Masjid al-Islam in Oakland. Armed intruders attacked Masjid al-Islam in Oakland. Okay. Sabotage, death threats against Imam Musa, and now grand larceny of Masjid al-Islam accounts. You ain't never heard nobody that have an account, and the government take them off the account and put somebody else on with no paperwork, just nothing. We asked him in court the last time, and I asked him a few months back now, I said, show me any paperwork that you have that allows you to do all of this stuff. Show me anything that allows you to do this. Imam Musa assaulted in Oakland, California. That's the one assault. This is in August. This is in October. This is one assault. The other one is in August. They attacked the masjid. These Negroes got guns and they just attacking the masjid. They kick in the doors. They go into town. My son had one friend. He body slammed one of the guys, and then his gun fell out. So when then some of the other guys maybe on our team moved toward the gun, the other police, they had, you know. Now the night before, one of the Arab guys looked like these new, not Taliban, what was he?
ISIS.
Huh?
ISIS.
Look, the new ISIS. That's why I liked it, because it gave me the perfect picture of what the new ISIS in America looked like. Full beard, young guy. He come to the masjid. Yeah, I'm going. I want to pray. Of course, I've seen it before. I said, no, it's micro time. I just got here from on the plane. I said, no, you can't. So told the story before. So he gonna pray anyway. I said, no, you gotta get out of here. So I eased him around the masjid, and he's in a perfect defensive mode. You know, like he's been trained. Slide back this way, slide back that way. But when I got up on him, he leaned forward and reached back there. Just perfect police style. I said, I told you. And I used some other words. You was a police. Because I could see the holster sticking down 3 inches right back there. And he moved, leaning forward. You know where the police, he leaned forward. I said, oh yeah, we got you now. That was the day before. That was Thursday night. So on Friday, we knew what to expect. They came there. Finally, they couldn't get nothing. I had down in the gym there. I had some people as witnesses. So they stole the phone. They did this. Had the speaker outside. They did it military style. There's one thing about it. They do everything. That's what is clear. They have military precision. They train like an army police force. That's how they act. They don't just stumble up and good man, they don't do that. It's all zoop, zoop, zoop. At the same time, I think dear Khadijah, she slipped, run up behind me, and actually technically knocked me down. That's what the paper says. She did. From behind. Anyway. She's not no small girl. She's been trying to lose weight since I've been talking about her weight. But anyway, that stuff is not important, but what's important about this stuff is this. What do the government do to somebody that see all this? This is the rock bar. You hear the news about Iran? This is the rock bar. It ain't no Negro in the world got no picture with the rock bar. But Sudanese, you can see the brother right there. That's Sudanese. But by the way, since we're talking about Sudan, I want to remind y'all of something. I'll get back to these pictures. Years ago, a lot of the Sudanese brothers used to go to our Masjid over on 8th Street. Tons of Sudanese brothers. In fact, all of them out this way. It's one of the main reasons they opened that joint down. It used to be open around there. African guys there to suck them away. And to suck Negroes away too. But the Negroes went later. The Sudanese went. Technically, the Sudanese went when we had a program here. They was talking about war in southern Sudan, this, that, and other, and Janjaweed and all of that. So we had a meeting, all the people in the area, you know, Dodgers and all that. We had a meeting over at the Sudanese ambassador's house. So we did a lot of those things. On the side, I told them, Sudanese ambassador, you can come over and have a program at the Masjid. And the Sudanese ambassador came and he gave a good talk. We wanted him to explain his side. Okay, Sudan got different crews. So our brothers that went to the Masjid, they didn't like the Sudanese ambassador, nor did they like the Sudanese Equanities. You know, like Hassan Tarabi and all that. They didn't like it. And I tried to explain to them. When we went to the Sudan, I said, our issue is African Americans. I said, they tell black women that you accept Islam, you're going to have to get female genital mutilation. Remember that when they was talking about that? All you heard all day long, on all the news, all over the country. And here they got the black station, female genital mutilation. Now that means that the woman accept Islam, that's the way they're putting it out, she's going to have an operation on her vagina to get the sensitive part clipped out. Now suppose you was a lady thinking about Islam. What would you do? Then the issue of slavery in the Sudan. One thing about slavery and Negroes, don't know Negro in America, when he hear about slavery, he don't want to have nothing to do with anything associated with slavery. So they're saying in the Sudan, they got slavery. And the Europeans, let's call them white folks, was going over there, Christian Sudanese, Christian Euros, going over and liberating slaves. It was a big joke. Here's what's happening. You hear that there's a group of people here that they here to liberate slaves. So today, I take you. I say, this here is my slave. How much you give it for? $500. Just imagine $500 in Sudan. In US dollars. Huh? Now the next day, he take me. This nigga has long me. If you get all your cousins and everybody, hey man, it's a free-for-all. Christian money, white Christian money, for non-existent slavery. It ain't no slavery in the Sudan, right? But they read newspapers. They got radio broadcasts. A lot of people speak English and they just waiting on them to get there to liberate. So the reason for us, the only issue about Sudan and Sudanese was we are doing dawah to African Americans. Those two subjects, female genital mutilation and slavery, was affecting our, that's why we took the Christian brothers, a couple of preachers, and we took the People's Republic, we took some of the African liberation remnants of it to Sudan, because they was believing it too. Hadari and Ray, they used to work over Sudanese embassy. And we went over there. Could nobody find not one slave in the whole place? They said, we got it. I said, look, they told me. Anyway, so our brothers, when we had the program for Sudan here, they was telling us all the time, we don't like them. This is Sudanese here. Okay? We said, we don't have nothing to do with, I said, we don't have nothing to do with this group, that group, that group. What we have is an issue. You think the Americans, if we don't know the difference, the Americans don't know the difference between groups. All they know is Sudan is, they had the Janjaweed supposed to be the white, the light-skinned Arabs, right? It was a joke because, anyway. So the joke is this, that we have to tell the people, look, we don't have nothing to do with the different groups. If we don't know the difference between y'all, how do you think the Americans? You have to tell us the group you're a part of, right? They have to say, yeah, well, and this is where we're coming from. Well, you get a chance to, Hassan Tarabi, Kwani type. Hassan Tarabi, my wife and I at the time went down, they spoke at the Department of Strategic Studies or something downtown. And when he was in the car, the Southern Sudanese was shaking the car and the police was standing right there. They didn't do nothing. Because Southern Sudanese was Christians and he's a Muslim. When we sat down in the place, He was sitting there by himself, Hassan Tarabi, with him and one man. My wife and I sat right in back of him for security. He was coming over to Masjid, whatever it is over there, the chief's place on 4th Street. When I drove off the hill, because I said, hey man, I was talking on the phone to different brothers, and I said, hey, we're going to have to go over there and we're going to have to get him some security. He's going all around the country. When I drove off the hill, I got arrested, and they just held me until the meeting was over. So ain't no problem. And then Hassan Tarabi, when he went around, a martial artist Sudanese whacked him upside the head, and he was in a coma for how long? Long time. That happened. Yeah. We was going to tell him, and I told him, but yeah man, we gotta, of course I should have known better, the boss man gonna be listening. I'm telling you that we understand all the fitna that we're involved in. We just understand it and there's no problem. Okay?
Not that you, even to back that up, because I didn't come to the program that was here, but when I came back and brothers, African American brothers that are part of the community, they was like, man, they had an idea of the Sudanese brothers that were here in reference to the program. They were like, man, it was interesting.
Yeah,
it was interesting that they kind of took. They kind of looked at the community too, like, man, that didn't look good for the community because you didn't take sides.
No, I didn't take sides. The people, do the African American take sides? They don't know. And our brothers knew that we're saying Sudan. It don't make no difference what group, because don't nobody know the difference between one Sudanese and another. But at this time, the Sudanese ambassador is speaking for them. That's why we did that program 20 years ago, something outside the Sudanese embassy. That's a long time. Outside the Sudanese embassy. Okay, we don't have nothing to do with the different crews, even when we talk about Iran and other places, and we know something about that. We know we say, look, we support this, is what we support. All that other, we don't have nothing to do with it. But anyway, suppose, now you gotta remember, all this stuff, when the police, just backtrack, when the police come, find me, right here, all it did, the lady took a